Alright, we are now streaming, y'all. Alright, we are about to kick off the show. I'm just doing a little pre-test here. Y'all can hear me and everything, right?
We can hear you.
Alright.
What?
Alright. Alright, y'all. Um Damn, it just took Bridget off the thing here.
Nope, that wasn't you. That was me.
Oh, okay.
She did.
Go.
She just want to show her dress one more time.
Don't
Okay.
do
Alright. Be ready to come back because we about to start the show and people. Well, we actually are live. People watching us now. I'm just waiting on you to come. Oh, there you are. Yeah, there you are. All right.
Oh.
All right, y'all. Here we go. And y'all. I don't know. We was talking about Bridget about this yesterday about the audio. So we'll see how this kicks off if y'all can hear the audio. But we'll keep it pushing though. All right, y'all. Here we go.
Welcome to the 90 Degree Show,
there?
the sports center for college marching bands where we recap the ultimate
Okay,
battles from this weekend. And now, here's our host, the Phantom Podcaster himself,
I guess
Joe Beard.
I guess I'll just sit here.
Hold up, man. Yeah, y'all can't hear the audio. It's all good. We'll work on that. All right, everyone. Welcome to the 90 Degree Show. Of course, y'all heard Rashad. Yeah, Rashad, they can hear you. They can hear you. You couldn't mute. Yeah, I guess I should have told you that. But yeah, we working on the audio stuff. But we have here the kickoff to the 2018 season, as you can see there at the bottom of your screen. Actually, I hope you can see that at the bottom of your screen. And I am here with my esteemed panel of guests to kick off the new season. And again, appreciate you being here and love that you guys are ready to kick off this new season with me. And really, really excited. So without further ado, I'll just say welcome to the 90 Degree Show. Happy to be of service for you. Welcome if you're listening through iTunes, Facebook. We're streaming live to YouTube, Twitter, our website, our blog, or wherever you are on the interwebs. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. Tonight's show is brought to you by Block Band Music and Publishing, SAY Marketing and Promotions, blockusup.com, and Kevin Pete of Remax Realty. We hope you enjoyed the show. All right, and now welcome to our esteemed panel of guests. The great one and only, two great people here in the world, outstanding folks, and I can't really, I'll just say it now, I can't really express thank you too much because, hey, we doing this all for the craft, and it's late on the East Coast. But I appreciate you guys being here. So without further ado, the one and only Bridget Bell. How are you doing this season, Bridget?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Had a good off season. What did you do this summer? Anything special?
Yeah, it was an interesting summer. You know, had some kind of things happen. I'll talk about that when we do our shout outs. One of the most important, significant thing, but. Got a chance to go hang out in Cuba a little bit and, vacation, chill, Disney World, all that good stuff. So summer was good.
That's good. Yeah, I saw some of those pictures. So I was like, okay, that's cool that you're doing all right, doing big things. Rashad, the one and only, we got to come up with a new word for you. We were magnanimous 2 years ago. And then last year you was the illustrious.
Illustrious.
That's right.
Yes, the illustrious. So this year we need to come up with a new name, but for right now, the one and only owner and founder of Block Band Music and Publishing, Rashad Waters. What's going on? How you doing in this podcast, sir?
What's happening, man? We got the word, man. We got it, man. I'm always prepared, man. What is it? Spectacular accomplishment is never preceded by less than spectacular preparation. So we got the word, man. Word for the year 2018 is regal.
You got me because I thought you were about to say spectacular. but
Right.
Regal.
That's
Regal.
right.
That's what's up.
Regal Rashad Waters.
Regal
What's
Rashad
happening,
Waters.
everybody? Everything is going just fantastic.
That's cool. That's cool. So so just so the two panelists know, we are still working on the audio. Shout out to the Rogers brothers. Let me give you a quick here.
Hey, my neighbors, Rogers brother, what's up?
Right. They in the hood. So I appreciate that and give y'all a round of applause here. Y'all can't hear the audio, but we still working on that.
While the audio is working its way up.
Yeah.
There you go.
but straight up though, shout out to them and giving me the new program. I'm still messing with it and so you guys tonight won't be, but soon there are different audio transitions and audio things that we'll be talking about as we say something. Because Rashad, you always saying something funny, so we'll be having different sounds to go along with that, but you won't hear them. And of course, when we want to give someone props or something, we have the round of applause like we just did. But you can probably see all of that streaming on YouTube. But like I said, shout out to those guys. We wanted to upgrade and try to figure out a way to bring the show on our own discretion. Shout out to KCAA and NBC Sports. We did the thing last year with them. Really good learning experience. And so now, we are on our own ticket here. You know what I mean? So, without further ado, I am going to go to the first commercial break because we were going to be talking about, and I'm going to verify this with Rashad and Bridget. We're going to be talking about the Battle of the Bands with Virginia State and Norfolk, right?
Right.
That also we'll be talking about Miles and Alabama A&M.
Right.
We'll talk about the halftime show. Did you guys check out the fifth quarter of that?
I sure did. A good portion of that.
Yeah, it was a good one. But yeah, it was long. Yeah. But yeah, we'll be unveiling new formats as the season goes on. But we'll try to get as many bands covered as possible each week, and with all the people that are out there. But we definitely can cater to the wonderful folks out there on the East Coast. Being cool with me because I'm 3 hours behind y'all, So let's go to the first commercial break. So yeah, sorry, Rashad, you won't hear it, but but they'll hear you, so you might want to mute the microphone, brother. You know what I'm saying? And I'll let you know when we come back, and then we'll get into talking.
Say something funny.
Yeah, I'm about to say. But see, just a little test for all you listeners out there. Y'all know how funny Rashad is. So when Rashad is gonna say something funny. There you go. See, y'all got that? Y'all like that? Yeah, I liked it. That'd be giving you crud. Yeah, I wish y'all got that.
I don't say funny things. I just get funny bands to talk about.
That was perfect. That was good. I wish y'all could have saw that. That was dope. All right, let's go to the commercial break, and we'll be right back. We also got some news to talk about. So yeah, y'all, so a little teaser. So,
and our shout-outs also. Don't forget our shout-outs.
On the shout-outs. So, let's do that now. Bridget, before we go to our commercial break, who are you shouting out tonight?
All right, I'm shouting out first all the teachers who are starting school tomorrow in the state of Maryland. Have a great school year. The Morgan State Magnificent Marching Machine, got to see them this weekend. Shout out to them, along with Tau Beta Sigma Kappa Kappa Psi Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I got to give a shout out to the ladies who are leading bands now. We have quite a few drum majors that are head drum majors that are females, and they are sorors also. So shout out to them. And my personal note, I have to definitely do it. If you can see the shirt I have on, Hope, Love, Cure. I'm giving a major shout out today to who I'm dedicating my year to, my god sister. I'm going to put this up on the screen.
To the left, yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right, that's my god sister Nicole. She was an avid singer, music lover, and she passed from breast cancer in June. We grew up together, spent 40 years together, so this has been kind of a tough summer, so I'm dedicating this season to my god sister Nicole Powell Cook. May she rest in eternal glory.
That's what's up. Bless your heart, and bless her family as well. Rashad, any shout-outs tonight before we get going to the first, we kick off the season?
Look, man, I just want to know why we didn't explain our shout outs before the show. I mean, how am I supposed to follow that? I mean, she got posters. She got all this stuff written down. This was a setup. That was a setup right there. Let me just shout out Hampton University. I got that on my shirt, and my parents and black people. Shout out all of y'all. Wakanda forever. And white people. Shout out to y'all and Asians and Hispanics as well as Arabic people as well. Thank you.
That's what's up, brother. That's what's up. In fact, let me give you a round of applause. A little round of applause. Listeners out there, a little round of applause.
Native Americans. I forgot about y'all too. Because I was saying Indians. I was talking about Indians in India. But Native Americans, shout y'all out too. All right, let me mute my mic.
That's what's up, man. But yeah, shout out to you, man. You guys check out Color Commentary. I got to check out more of the video. So yeah, Rashad, really proud of you, man. This Color Commentary is actually really, really cool.
I was waiting for that, Rashad. I thought you was going to give a shout out to Color Commentary.
Yeah, man, doing a lot with the visual effects and everything, and a really cool stuff. Cause see, you're educating me. I myself, I wasn't into comic books, but I'm definitely into the stuff going on now. So like, I'm like new to hearing and like all the stuff that's going on. That's like new to me. So it was cool to kind of watch the movie and then like look at what you guys talked about. And it's crazy because you kind of knew about Thanos. I didn't know he was dope like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, man.
I mean,
Thanos ain't playing around.
Yeah. So yeah. Spoiler alert for people that ain't seen it. But yeah, we will get into it. But just happy to talk to you guys again. Let's go ahead and go to our first commercial break so we can come back and talk about the news we have for the day. Listening to and watching the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network. We will be right back.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
Hello, this is Professor Snipes of the Miles College Purple Marching Machine. You are now listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, I mute my microphone. Excuse me. We are back. Thank you very much for coming back. Shout out to Block Band Music and Publishing. Y'all didn't hear that, but that's who that was. And we got the owner and founder here. So let's talk, guys, about some news. A whole bunch of stuff. Well, not a whole bunch of stuff happened over the summer, but enough for folks to be talking about. We probably ain't going to get into all that, but I'm sure it'll come up sometime this season. But a lot happened this summer. But I guess the main thing that I had wanted to talk about, well, let's just get this out the way now. Today, I was on Facebook, and I saw our beloved Christy Walker. Christy Walker, Christy was on the show last year. Well, she's been on the show the last couple of years. She is focusing now on her education. So, shout out to her. I'll give her the folks' applause for that. Coming back.
Fill in with claps.
Yeah,
Fill in with claps.
Yeah, there it was. There it was. So, she gave us, love, shout out, but she's going to concentrate on her thing. And, we wish her luck. But she had an announcement today. She and, is it Mike Lee? Is it Law? Lee? Or Law?
He's thinking.
To what we had.
Rashad, really?
I know.
Good time. Come on, man. I'm just providing the background music. To make the loud.
I'm about to say. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Good. Sorry about that.
The audio can't handle it, I guess.
So basically, they announced that the fifth quarter is, once they get to the 20-year mark, they are going to move on or archive the site or do something. I know they said that they weren't just going to just shut it down, but like they were going to do something. But it won't be available for us the same way. And I just want to give a shout out to Christy and Mike. And I believe it's Mike. I don't know if it's Mike Lee or Law. Excuse me, because I just met
Mike
him.
Lee.
Lee. Okay, yeah, I just met him today. Shout out to the fifth quarter.
2 years late, man.
Yeah, I know. Super late. Because I know, and Christy was always saying like,
they shutting down the site.
yeah, I mean, I was like, wow, man. But I kind of knew it was coming. I had been talking to Christy, and I didn't think, it was gonna keep going in, like another 20 years. But it did its thing. Bridget, I'll give the floor to you to talk about it. Anything as far as, the hearing about the news about the fifth quarter?
So, mad love to Christy and Mike, because when I say they really changed the game, they were probably one of the first media platforms for HBCU bands. So I have a high respect, high regard for the work and foundation that Christy and Mike kind of set and established. We didn't really use the term. I don't remember using the term fifth quarter until that website kind of came about. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I feel like that term really kind of caught wind with the website. Great platform and media. I met so many people through the website. I met Christy through the website. And so I am eternally grateful for the work and foundation they've led in our field, HBCU band world, because they really opened up a realm that people didn't otherwise know, people we wouldn't have met, people we wouldn't have known. Before Facebook, there was the fifth quarter. So mad love to you, Christy and Mike. God bless you in your future endeavors. Thank you so much for laying that foundation for us and for your labor of love. That's not a paid gig. That was a labor of love for 20 years. Right. And so I am eternally grateful on behalf of Real Soul TBS, the big mouth one, the fifth quarter for many years. I am eternally grateful for you guys.
Rashad, man, how do you feel, man?
Oh, man. Well, real quick, I wanted to let you know that Mike Lee, Joe, is actually on the school board here in Durham, North Carolina.
Congratulations!
Okay. Wow, congratulations! Oh.
Yeah, so they're big talk. Our fifth quarter royalty ain't just band royalty. But man, it's a very sad thing. Just like Bridget, I agree 100%. The fifth quarter really was the thing that set it off for a lot of us. Because before the fifth quarter, unless you were a part of a fraternity or a sorority, there wasn't any real connection between the bands, like at all. But the fifth quarter started bringing us together and started forming this network of people. Matter of fact, I mean, the most of the people that I see, about half the people I see on my Facebook timeline are all band people from the fifth quarter, So it's just amazing what they did and how they really started to bring us together. I'm so proud to have known them and have been a part. Of course, I was prune juice on the fifth quarter. That's why I got started running my mouth. So I'm now him running my mouth again, as much as Bridget will allow me to. But I got my start running my mouth on the fifth quarter. So I'm very thankful to Christy and to Mike for putting that all together for us. So thank you, guys. We're going to miss you.
I definitely agree. I guess I have a little fifth quarter. I mean, I don't necessarily have a fifth quarter story, but I knew for years about it, and I didn't know who Christy was. Now, when I started the podcast, and everybody knows I wanted to listen to some type of podcast because, I'm an engineer, running tests, all that all day in my office. So I started listening to Christy, and that kind of platformed this show and catapulted this show and all the other shows. So now, you got a lot of marching band media out right now. And that all started with Christy doing that her thing on iTunes. She had her little music. She had her little customized music for the podcast. And it's still on there if you guys want to check it out. But really excited. And then once I got going, I had to interview her. I had to reach out to her. And it was funny. I think Christy was like being cautious about me. I think she thought I was kind of crazy or something. Because I was like reaching out to her and I was like, hey, I'm doing this and blah, blah, blah. So it took me like a long time for her to respond to me because I think she was just being cautious. And it was funny because I was meeting a lot of people and they were like, "Oh yeah, Christy this," and I was like, "Oh, you know Christy Walker?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, we know Christy." Just like, "Do you know her?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get in contact with her. I hadn't heard back from her," and everybody's like, "Oh." That's how everybody responded. Like, you know what I'm saying? So she finally called me back, and the rest is history. So shout out to you, Christy, and shout out to you, Mike. And yeah, it's you're legends. You're definitely legends. I always call Christy Rosa Parks. So you know,
Yes.
but that's where that comes from. Her starting that website. So shout out to you guys. We will miss you. All right. Moving on. The second topic that I had to talk to you guys about was part of the band stuff we were talking about. But I wanted to get into this first, 'cause I'm sure a lot of people were talking about it. There was actually a little scuffle, if you will, at the Virginia State Norfolk game, Battle of the Bands. I'm not sure what city was held in or the venue or anything like that.
It was at Norfolk.
Okay. So they had a little interesting issue going on. Now, all I saw was the video, and, you know, they was fighting after, I guess, Virginia State was drumming, and then somebody came on or something like that. But I think you guys know a little bit more information. So, Bridget, I'll give you the floor. What do you know about the fight that happened between those two schools?
All I can say is what the video shows. And so the video shows a battle of the band, which seems to be going, you know, pretty much okay. We'll talk about the bands a little bit later, because that's a whole nother interesting thing. But during the percussion section, so they're about an hour and 33 minutes exactly into the battle of the bands, and Virginia State's percussionist, I'm sorry, Rashad, do you have something for me?
Oh, no, you just said about exactly.
And so Virginia State's kind of in a percussion block, and they do a thing where they kind of walk around for a minute, and little Devin Miles, I don't know his name, so we're going to call him little Devin Miles from Drumline.
That was funny.
He will start walking over to Norfolk's band, which, if you know the culture of Norfolk's band, that's a no-no. That's a no-go, because they have Spartan guards there. But just because of who, you know, kind of how they carry themselves as a band, you know, it's unnecessary. Band directors establish criteria way before Battle of the Bands happens. So why are you walking over to them? So he walks right up and directly in front of a clarinet player's face, and the Spartan guards respond, as they do, kind of backing him up, which resulted in Virginia State drummers dropping their drums, you know, and everybody kind of, you know, running towards the scene as, you know, we typically do. So that's kind of what the video shows. I applaud Norfolk State band for the most part. They exercised a lot of restraint. Like, the band pretty much was letting the Spartan guards handle it. My personal feelings on it, I'll talk about once you guys give your reflection. But, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Little Devin Miles and made potentially a good battle of bands, and he made it turn kind of the other way, which is unfortunate.
Rashad, what did you think about what happened, or what was your take about what happened, man?
First of all, after watching it like a second or third time, you said a little something or a little scuffle. I think that's the best way to describe it, because at first I heard on Facebook that it was a fight, and then I watched it. Oh, it was a fight. But after I watched it again, to call it really a fight is really kind of stretching it. It was really just a little bit of shoving and a whole bunch of people running, but not really a whole lot happening, you know. So it wasn't really everything that is being portrayed to be. The first thing I want to comment on is that it was something that was coming. The intensity was ratcheting up. It actually started, I'm not trying to place blame here, but it actually started well before the drum lines. It started with Norfolk State's trombone section, where after they played for the crowd, they turned and played right at Virginia State's band. Then their baritone section came out and did the same thing. And then after a while, that was done. They were done with that. Then when Virginia State's tuba section came out, they were like, oh, well, let's do this again. And so they got a little even closer to Norfolk State than Norfolk had gotten to VSU, and they played in their faces. So it had been ratcheting up. That tension was ratcheting it up. Right. So then all of a sudden, this one drummer goes and he stands in front of, he walks right over to Norfolk's band and starts playing. He was dumb for doing that, and personally, he should be suspended for doing that. However, I do have another side to that. I think he should be suspended for that because I don't think that's Virginia State's band. But people are using the Devin Miles analogy, and I think they actually have it backwards. Because if you look at Devin Miles, everybody thinks about the fact that, yes, he moved away from the rest of the drumline during the halftime show. But the fight during drumline started when the guy from Mississippi Communist College, whatever that made up school was, walked up to him and started playing on his drum. And that's when Devin fought. And if you look at the movie, you'll see the climax of the movie is when they're matching up against Morris Brown, and he's able to show restraint even when that guy is standing in front of him. So to me, it's really the Spartan Guard that's really more of Norfolk State. I mean, Devin Miles, because the drummer walked up to them and they reacted. To me, all they had to do was stand in front of him. That's perfect. Stand in front of him and stop him from going any closer. But what they didn't have to do was push him back. Now, they didn't use their hands, but they walked him back. And that was not necessary. And once that started happening, then another Spartan Guard person came up and started helping. And then actually you can see the Virginia State Quint player, he sees what's happening. He's trying to pull him away. But then by then, all of a sudden the bands are rushing each other. So to me, the guy from VSU should have been suspended because he shouldn't have been over there in the first place. But the Spartan Guard had no business react. They overreacted to me. They did too much. They just need to do what the band directors were doing. The real heroes of Norfolk State's band was all these people who came out in polo shirts that were pulling everybody away. So let them do their job, and Spartan Guard needs to calm down a little bit.
And Spartan Guard, was that the security or something like that in the place?
That's their flag line. Yeah, that's like their male flag line.
Male flag corps. You see them kind of, they'll flank like the dancers. And really, if you've ever seen, anybody who knows or plays Norfolk kind of know how they kind of roll. If you walk over to their band while they're in any kind of a block, they kind of respond. Usually they have the spears in hand. They kind of respond. Which is, I guess, the other side of it for me is, so I get that because I understand the culture of the band. And if you play them, you should know that. However, part two is putting kids over security kind of poses another issue. Like, we can't leave kids responsible, especially this day and age, because kids just respond differently. Putting kids, and I think Rodney Chambers, kind of, shout out Rodney, made that. And I was like, yeah, that's very true. Like, we're putting kids in charge of the security of our band, and that's probably not a wise decision at this point, just with how these generations are. But if you play Norfolk like Virginia State does, you know better. Like, really, you do know better. You know that the Spartan Guards are going to respond, so don't even push the limit. But it's kind of a two-sided coin, in my opinion.
My issue is that this is the second time in like 3 years that Spartan Guard has gotten into a fight. Now, I don't know what all the incident, what all was involved with them with A&T. It seemed to be a thing with Spartan Guard and Cold Steel, but Cold Steel wasn't involved at all. If you watch the video, it was something happening with Spartan Guard and some alumni from A&T. But I mean, if your flag line, which is non-essential, is going to be consistently, I'm sorry, they're not. It's not like the tuba lines getting in a fight. If they're going to be getting in fights all the time, trying to do their job, then maybe they need to be stepped back.
Well, okay. So I'm not laughing at nobody. But
yes, you are.
But for a little bit, that's the first thing I thought about. So excuse me to the auxiliaries, I don't watch them as much. So like flags, I just don't. So I didn't know they had dude flags. Now, I'm sure that there are dude flags somewhere in the world, and that's like masculine, and that's dope. But for me, that's like, why y'all got dude flags? So maybe they feel that, and I'm sure people pick on them, and maybe they got to prove themselves. Maybe they got to be gangster about it. You know what I mean?
Joe, it's kind of their brand, though. So you got to think of what Sparta is, and so they're like the guards. Norfolk whole brand is this whole Spartan kind of thing.
Okay.
Spartans are like warriors, so they're really the warrior. It's not a thing about masculinity or femininity at all, because they're more like the warriors for the band. So really, they are providing the, quote, security kind of for the band. Oh. You see them, if they're marching in the New Orleans parade, they're flanking the dancers to make sure nobody bother them. If they see anything that's a threat to the band, they're the ones who kind of respond, which kind of, like I said, kind of puts into question, like, is that a good idea? The band staff the band staff was responding, and I said the band exercised a lot of restraint, but we're giving kids an awesome responsibility that this day and age may not really suit what's kind of going on. But it's not a masculinity, feminine thing. FAMU has male flag in their flag corps, so it's not really about, to me, it's not about that, but yeah.
Yeah, I just felt, I don't know, I felt that was the first thing I thought about was maybe it's, maybe they hardcore. So, and you already say maybe that's they job that they protect the band, so maybe they already got a little, little chip on their shoulder for them. I was just trying to just speculate because, I saw it and I'm like, well, dang, what happened, but, hey, it is what it is. I'm sure other folks know more about it, and hey, you can, if you watching us, you can view in the chat. I got to make sure I put everything on Facebook. Shout out to Brother Edgerson. Let me go ahead and do the little Brother Edgerson. Do the little claps. Y'all know. He already joined the chat and said, appreciate what you do. Thanks, brother. But so, yeah, Garrett always has good words of encouragement. And for me, I was honestly the first person to recognize how dope Garrett was. So just for the band world out there, I saw him first. He was putting stuff on YouTube, but I was the one that put it out there on the internet with his interview, and we was letting him hold the web space so he could put, the Edge One Pro stuff out there. He was using our Marching Podcast domain for a little while, but he don't need us no more. He big time. So so yeah, shout out to him. He's in the chat room. Okay.
Hey, welcome.
So that's the news. Any other news you wanted you guys tackle before we started to talk about these bands real quick?
Well, we've been talking about band news forever because in the off season a lot of things happen. The change of leadership and at Southern. There's so many things we could talk about. So we'll hit a little bit. We probably want to hit a little bit each week. We hit kind of some of the major things that's happening now, but. The Hamer situation was interesting. There was several interesting things that happened. A couple bands have a change in leadership. Not just Southern, so yeah, it's worth talking about. But I say we go ahead and hit the bands up.
Okay,
he's got a cooking show. We got to talk about that in the future.
Who got a cooking show?
You throwing shade? You gonna have the people not cutting up again?
He does have a cook. He literally has a cooking show. Nathan Hamer has a cooking show.
And he cook. It's called Cooking Sexy or something. He can cook.
Yeah. But it seemed to be interesting. That man, he won't let nothing slow him down.
I know. I think I like dude. I hear more and more stuff about him, and yeah, I think he's cool. I heard he was off the chain. A couple of directors told me he was off the chain. So yeah, that's cool. But he got a cooking show. Hey man, the brother got to work, man. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him.
Do your thing, because you sure ain't gonna be the band director no more. So do your thing, Hank. Do your thing.
There you go. I had to put a little. I added a little.
He lost the second round of his, petition, and somebody set him up for the fail. That's the whole. I'm trying to tell you, that's like a show in itself. And shout out to the people on the real Southern folks who was kind of salty, tried to come for me. You can't come for me now, boo. You got a new band director.
Joe, if you're gonna have a sound for me when I say something funny, you gotta have like a gunshot or something for Bridget when she.
I thought about gunshot.
Wow! Oh!
I call it like I said. And as Dini said, I said what I said.
I said what I said. Well, no, that's all good. That's all good. Well, I mean, I'm praying for him. It's another brother lost his job. I hate it. Well, and real quick. Well, you know what? We did say we're going to talk a little bit about the preseason poll. I'll just listen.
We didn't have time to get to the band.
I know, right?
I'm going to hang with y'all tonight.
But yeah, I was kind of just tripping, just watching how the news was being reported. And I don't know. I'm already sensitive about a lot of that stuff anyway. But oh my God, they were just like, oh, this guy is so horrible. And then they put all this business about what happened in the news report. Like they had the text messages, and then they had the woman that interviewed her, and she was like, I don't know what he's talking about. I was just like, oh, this looks so bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks bad. We got to be smarter about how we handle band business. A lot of people are still using old school methods. So being on the other side of it, doing 12 years at a college where, I served as the administrator and some other things, I understand how it looks. but I also understand how colleges and universities kind of work. And I want to say the amount, I may have the amount wrong, so excuse me if the amount is wrong, but I want to say the amount is something like $300,000 unreported in account, blah, 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 blah. Do I see how that could happen? Yes. Do I think he did something unethical? Honestly, no. I just think he got caught up in a stupid process and somebody called him on his stuff. Often universities will make checks out to band directors or personnel for things like travel per diems. So they got to get cash per diems to students. And how do you do it? You give them a check, and then you have to bring back logs and receipts or whatever. So the biggest part of his trial right now is going to be figuring those things out, you know, bringing in receipts, and hopefully he kept good records. That's what's going to really save him, if he kept good records. Was it the smartest thing to put in his personal account? No. And you have to open up a separate account, Southern University bank account, whatever you have to do. So I think this is a learning lesson. Sorry, he's the guinea pig kind of catching it, but hopefully this provides a window for people to kind of look out and kind of examine their practices so they don't get caught up in the same thing.
Word. Rashad, anything to add on that, man?
Nothing to add on.
I know, right? Well, I mean, hey, man, we pulling for you, brother. We all from the same.
I hate for that to happen to anyone. Honestly, you don't want anybody to lose their job, but sheesh, this is just a sticky, ugly situation, and we know it. When people come for you, they come for you hard. So your stuff, paper trail has to be legit. Everything has to be on. You have to always cover your bases, because negative people gonna come for you. You just got to be prepared.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. So the next thing we'll go real quick is the preseason band poll with HBCU Sports. They put out their thing. You guys go to hbcusports.com and follow them. So basically, they had A&T was their band of the year last year, and they were happy. I'm sure A&T was happy about that. Shout out to Chrissy, you know, because she's still telling people that A&T was undefeated last year.
They still are so far this season.
Yeah, I know, right?
No shade there, yeah.
So they were starting off the list as number one. So the poll, if you guys have not seen it, HBCU Sports, and I'll put the link there in the chat room. But they had North Carolina A&T as number one, Jackson State number two. They had Southern as number three. Good old Miles College came in at number four. Number five is Tennessee State. Number 6, Bethune-Cookman. Number 7, Prairie View A&M. Number 8, Norfolk. Number 9, Alabama A&M. Number 10, FAM. Number 11, Texas Southern. Number 12, Alcorn. Number 13, Grambling. 14, Alabama State. And number 15, they had Arkansas Pine Bluff. Rashad, what did you think about the list, man?
I'm surprised that FAMU is as low as it was. I think FAMU is pretty close to being back where they're supposed to be. Not 100%, but they're almost there. So I'm surprised to see them that low on the list. And I think that Kentucky State probably should be on here someplace. And you know what? I'm not sure if I saw Morgan last year or not, but I know the year before they were doing some really good things. So, as usual, the smaller bands, it's hard for them to break into things like this, you know, because you just don't. There are great small bands like Virginia Union does some really good things, and you never will see them on this because they just don't have the manpower. So, other than that, I mean, it's not that bad. It's a pretty decent list.
Bridget, what you think about the list?
You know what? I've seen most of these bands preseason, or quite a few bands, and I don't like the ranking at all. And you almost have to do it by conference, is what I think, just because the styles are so vastly different. But if you're going to do this poll, A&T should not be at the top of the poll. Right now, believe it or not, Jackson State looks good. They sound good. They're marching well. So they would be at the top of the poll. Southern, after what I heard this weekend, I don't think they should really be as far up. I'm not saying that they're at the bottom. Sorry, that's me dinging. I don't think they should be at the bottom, but I don't know if I would put them right under. Maybe Jackson Southern behind each other. Okay, then maybe like A&T somewhere in there. Let me tell you something. Norfolk ranks higher than A&T from what I heard preseason. Norfolk sounds good. That band sounds really good. They're marching well, so I would put them higher. Alabama A&M definitely higher. A&M sounds good this season. Cookman, I drop them. Prairie View, drop them. I've seen them. They would be lower on this poll. FAMU would not be on the poll. I heard them this season. They're not even the classic FAMU sound. I was stunned at the clips that I've heard of them so far. So FAMU, as much as I love, I really like the program. Alcorn State, they really, really dropped off. They shouldn't be on the poll at all. I think they not that it's about numbers. I heard their sound, but their numbers, they have a band of like 90 right now. Drop them.
What?
Yeah,
they
had a big drop off. I haven't seen Alabama State. Let me tell you who the shocker is that should be in the top 5. In the top 5 should be Grambling. Grambling looks and sound good, guys. Don't sleep on them this season. They're definitely not a sleeper band for this season. So I saw Prairie View. This is always so hard for me because being in this field so long, I become friends with band directors, and I hate to I'm not slamming anybody's band because everybody's doing a lot of people are doing outstanding work. But these polls are opinionated. Come on now, that's my opinion. So it is what it is. So no offense to any of the band directors at all out there. So you're doing great work, so don't even pay that much attention. But Prairie View, I wouldn't quite have them quite as high up as they are on the poll. Cookman, they're just they're Cookman, so it is what it is. I definitely would have Jackson State at the top of the poll. Norfolk will be higher up on the poll this season. Yes, thank you, Rashad. Thank you for mentioning my beloved Morgan State. I would have them on the poll because it's me. Hey, bias. I'm okay with my bias, so they would definitely be on the poll. Yeah. Pine Bluff, I haven't seen them in ages, so I don't know what they sound like.
Well, that's what's up. That's actually.
Wait. Wait, no, you saw Pine Bluff, didn't you? Because weren't we talking about the fact that they look bored?
Oh, was that them?
Yes, that was Pine Bluff. They were playing something, and they just looked so.
I don't even remember. They were bored with themselves. Poor babies. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. I didn't know if that was them or. Yeah, that was them. You're right, Rashad. Yeah, they wouldn't be on this poll. They were bored with themselves.
They were on there like the band was mad because they wanted to play the cow song. The moo, you know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about, don't you? The moo, the cow song.
No, sir.
Y'all know what I'm talking about? Go ahead and check out Doja Cat. You got to check her out, Doja Cat. That's going to be the new hot song that bands are playing this year. It is crazy. It is not safe for work.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, let me know, Doja Cat. All right, well,
we will play that. We would let us.
Please get rid of Kiki. I'm over it already.
Were you talking about the In My Feelings challenge?
Yeah, the bands are starting to play. Kiki, do you love me? Like, let that go.
I wondered if that was gonna happen. I like the In My Feelings. My son did one. Y'all check out the Marching Podcast on Instagram. My son doing one. Yeah, man. I was wondering if bands was gonna do that. So yeah, I guess we'll talk about that in the next break.
You might as well give that up, Richard, because the bands have even if it came out in April. Like right after school ended, the bands have got to do it.
Oh, yeah, cause a band actually, the whole cheerleading, all the cheerleaders, all that went out there, a band this weekend. I guess with this, and I've said this years and years ago, and I say this all the time, I wish there was some type of formula that when we see these polls, like Bridget say they bias, so I wish there was some type of formula that somebody came out with. I know that Ernest will block us up. He's done a couple of things to say, oh, who won Honda or who did this, and then he had like a scoring system. So I just wish more bands, or more media or articles, whatever you want to call it. I wish they did more stuff like that where you can see how they came up with it. Jackson State, of course, it's high up there. So I'm like, oh, this list is all right. If they was down.
Jackson State sound good. They don't sound like the traditional Jackson State.
They don't. They've really changed. They are definitely not as rigid as I am because, I'm old and I'm old school. I ain't going to say I'm old, but I'm definitely older where I think that when the three of us were in the band, things are different and we like to play different stuff. So now, because I know we talked about drum breaks and we talked about a whole bunch of stuff that's different now, Jackson State's definitely is catering to the age group. They ain't being stubborn about it. So I give her props for that. Stay popular, stay relevant. You know what I'm saying? While people talk about Jackson State, they talk about me. You know what I'm saying? So stay relevant. Okay, y'all. Well, that's what's up. So we'll go ahead and get into the bands when we come back. Let's take the second commercial break here, and we go ahead. I know. We're going to push through it, Bridget. I know, because it's about to be like midnight on the East Coast.
I'm trying to tell you, you know I got an 8 o'clock bedtime, but come on, we got it.
All right, y'all. All right, we'll be right back here after this next commercial break to start talking about some of these bands. We'll get into Norfolk and Virginia State when we come back.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
The source for fair and factual information on your favorite college bands, blockusup.com. Well-written articles, in-depth band performance analysis, helpful resources for band directors, fun band-related topics, and exclusive interviews with some of today's brightest and most talented leaders of college marching bands. Visit us at blockusup.com, the meeting place for band fans and band directors.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, everyone, we are back from the commercial. Again, shout out to all the beloved, our beloved sponsors that help us do things. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or patron to the Marching Podcast, contact us, and we will give you the criteria. We'll start playing your commercials as you see now in our new format. And y'all can't see it. This is like, oh, I wish y'all could see it. We have a little, as the media folks call it, a lower third. I didn't know that's what that was called because I'm a big Sports Center guy, and they always had like the ticker and all that stuff at the bottom. Well, for the folks watching there on YouTube, we got the title of the show there at the bottom, but also if you see the ticker at the bottom, you are noticing our sponsors are right there too. So if you got a business, as much as we can, we will put you out there so you can start to make some money and blow up. But you can see a little taste here of you become a sponsor or patron here at the Marching Podcast, how we take care of you, all right? So getting here into the next spot, we are talking about the Battle of the Bands that took place between Virginia State and Norfolk. We already kind of talked about the fight and kind of put out there, Devin Miles was out there. But we're back now to the analytics of the musicianship here, because that's why we have these experts here talking this stuff tonight, and interested to see what your take was. So I have some questions for you guys to ask about it, and then we'll get through these real quick, and then if you have, something extra, go ahead, feel free to say it. But I just want to ask you guys some of the information here to see, how we can get through it, and I'll be timing it to see how it goes. All right. So the first thing, like I say, we talk about the Battle of the Bands there with Virginia State. Bridget, I'll start with you. Who do you think looked better between the two schools?
You know what's interesting to me? So I'm going to say Norfolk. And this is what I'm going to say. I don't know who do either of you know, Rashad, do you know who's Virginia State's band director now? I don't know who the band director is.
I don't know his name.
They look, every time I see Virginia State, they're looking more and more Norfolk-ish. Their style. And I'm trying to figure it out. Like their marching style, everything they're playing, some of the arrangements have a really a Norfolk-ish feel, which kind of bugs me when a college does that, because branding is super important to me. I think bands should have brands, programs should have brands, and Virginia State has lost their brand because they got this Norfolk-ish thing going on. I love Norfolk. They're one of my favorite programs. They really are one of my favorite programs, but everybody can't be Norfolk, and everybody shouldn't want to be Norfolk. Be who you are. Overall, I give it to Norfolk. Norfolk sound great. I don't take any credit away from Virginia State because they have some good things going on. I don't know how to turn that off. They have some good things going on. However, I really liked Virginia State. You know what? Believe it or not, I like to see a Virginia State Morgan Norfolk, an orange and blue something. I think that would be a better matchup. I think Norfolk is just too heavy for them at this point. Norfolk is playing. They're clean. They're crisp. I think they're too heavy for them right now.
I thought the question was who looked better.
And I'm answering it. Thank you, sir.
You answered it a minute ago.
So overall, I'm just saying, I think Norfolk look better just because they're originators of what Virginia State is kind of mimicking right now.
Okay. Rashad, I asked you the question. Who do you think looked better in the Battle of the Bands?
Norfolk, I think they did look better, particularly during the dance routine. Or the hype mix. And I hadn't thought about what Bridget was saying as far as their look, but yes, I will agree. I did feel that there was a lot of things that Virginia State was doing. I was like, didn't Norfolk do that? It just, and I wasn't really feeling it. You know what I mean? But maybe if Virginia State people would feel differently. Maybe they feel that they've been doing those things for years and we just didn't notice. I don't know. But Norfolk State did look better.
Okay, all right. I thought that. Okay, I didn't think it was. I couldn't say per se, just because Norfolk was like way too deep, and I think Bridget was kind of leading on that. They were like really big, and Virginia State was small. Virginia State was a lot smaller, so I can't necessarily say like Norfolk was bigger because I mean they just looked more. They just looked. It was scary. You know what I mean? They just looked more legit because they were deep. But Virginia State, I thought they held their own. But as far as who looked better, I can't really say. I do appreciate that Virginia State stayed so close together. Like, they weren't spaced out like a concert band, you know what I'm saying? So I did appreciate how they were sitting. But, man, I couldn't tell. I mean, Norfolk just came in. And then how long they took in there, I'm sure that was kind of, intimidating a little bit. All right, so second question I have for you guys. I'm going to pull it up here. I have to lose it. All right, who do you think sounded better? And I will again start with you, Bridget. Who do you think sounded better?
Definitely Norfolk. Virginia State didn't sound bad, but who had the better sound? And it's not even about numbers. Just they had a nice, really full sound. I would go with Norfolk. Their sound was cleaner, and Virginia State had some, especially in the Battle of the Bands. They had some things where they really sounded nice on. But overall, just to summarize the weekend, it was definitely Norfolk sounded better.
Okay, yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, your face. I see your face now. Back when you scooted back, is a little bit better. No, that's cool. I'm still getting adjusted to these cameras, and for the people back home, they already saw me kind of like making a new screen and making new cameras and stuff. So I'm still kind of playing around with it. Rashad, man, what do you think, man? Who do you think sounded better?
So I guess this will be our first disagreement here. I thought Virginia State sounded better. And it was hard to say that because Norfolk is, again, so much bigger. But I think that Virginia State out Norfolk at times. That Latin song that they played, the articulations that were happening in the baritones and trombones and tubas were magnificent. And there was a very warm sound that they had in that low brass. I think that both bands suffer from not having enough trumpets. Norfolk has about 20-something or more, maybe close to 30. They still need more. But Virginia State seems to have like only 8. And there were times where it seemed like Virginia State's trumpets weren't even playing. But besides that, their trombones and baritones sound just amazing. And it was a lot of really good arrangements that were going on between the two bands. But there were some times where the Virginia State arranger put in some runs just kind of out of nowhere. And I was like, wow, that was impressive. Short of the hype mix at the end, where Norfolk State definitely took that. There was no question about that. But short of that, I was really impressed with Virginia State's sound. And I'll give the sound to them.
Okay. Yeah, man. This one was tough. I honestly gave it to Virginia State just because Norfolk was bigger. And I thought, again, like when they were marching in, I'm like, God, this is going to be a slaughter. And the main thing that made me watch the show was I heard it was a fight. So I wasn't even really tripping that Virginia State was going to do anything in the first place.
Why do we have to be such black people?
I know.
There's a fight. Let me watch this show.
I know, that's bad. So I'm like, and shout out to Bridget. I appreciate your patience. When you were like 1:33, I really did think a minute and 33. So I put up the video and I went to like a minute and I was like, they just walking in. I don't see no fight. And I'm like, yeah, she probably meant the hour. So I got to it and I was like, damn, that was a trip. But then watching it, I was like, Virginia State is holding their own. Like, they not getting blown out. You know what I'm saying? So I gave them an edge just because I wasn't expecting that. And then I ended up watching the whole thing where I was just like, wow, they really coming with it. It was some parts I thought that was unfair, but I guess that's another question. But yeah, I was really impressed. Norfolk still sounded good. Don't get me wrong, but I guess the fact that Virginia State wasn't scared and put their tail between their legs, they showed up. You know what I'm saying? All right, next question for you guys. And shout out to Brother Snipes. Brother Snipes is in the chat room. He said we live, baby. Shout out to him. And we also got
about time you got on, boy.
You know what I'm saying? And shout out to him and someone else in the chat room as well. And who was that? A1 Story. And he said he thinks that Prairie View is the best band in the SWAC right now. So
that's just right.
So yeah, we'll get more into that. So yeah, next question I got for you guys about the Battle of the Bands. What was the best part of the show? Now that's either or it could be one of each. What did you think was the best part of the show, Bridget?
Pass.
What you think, Rashad?
I think about that. So we're talking about the halftime now, right?
No. The Battle of the Bands with Norfolk and Virginia State. What did you think was like the best? I guess the best thing was it a song that jumped out that you liked, or what was the best thing that you saw in the battle?
I don't watch enough of it to really be able to say, so I'm gonna pass that to Rashad.
Rashad, what you think, man? What was the best part of what you saw at the battle?
The Latin song from Virginia State. Again, I thought it was quite impressive. I didn't expect that, and just the arranging in general. Also, I was surprised, but I really liked the sleeping in my bed that Virginia State did. Not because of the band, not because of the winds and percussion. I would say I actually like the flags, and I'm not one to really pay a lot of attention to auxiliary, but that was a trouncing when the Silkettes from Norfolk State did their routine. It was a routine that literally could be done to any song. To any song. It was just 8 counts this, 8 counts that. Versus the routine, Royal Satin or something like that. I don't want to mess y'all's name up. But it fit the song, and I liked some of the moves they were doing. It wasn't as tight as Norfolk's, but I really enjoyed it from a visual standpoint. And also I enjoyed Virginia State's trombone section. Not to say that they had a perfect performance, but kind of like what you were saying with the David versus Goliath. The Horny Horns came out there with 21 strong, and they really let themselves down. They embarrassed. I don't want to say they embarrassed themselves, but they embarrassed themselves. It wasn't good. They should have. Horny Horns has always been a premier trombone section, and versus Virginia State, they just got creamed. So that was pretty interesting to watch as well. So those are my favorite parts, I think. Oh, I'm sorry. And the hype mix from Norfolk State. That Virginia State did a great job. They were really hype on theirs, but Norfolk took it to the next level. Yeah. And that was amazing because y'all have heard me say year after year after year after year, and then another year. Norfolk does not dance. They're not good at it. They play very well. They have a good sound. They don't dance well at all. They do this year. They worked it out. So I had to give them some props. That hype mix was amazing.
Yeah, that was actually the part to me that I thought that was like unfair, cause like the whole band, and I don't know. Y'all let me know what is the name of the. I don't know what's the name of the dance, but it's like I saw it did get like Madhouse this weekend. Was it a little chicken kick?
Yes, you tell extra kids the name of it. All the little middle school kids do that little dance. Can't think of the name of it right now. They love that dance.
Well, I know my daughter does the little floss, like the look where they stand and they. I know my daughter does that, but that little chicken kick.
But that side to side thing is the floss, right?
Yeah, that's the floss.
But you're talking about the one where they do this, and then they go under this way too.
Yeah, and then the dude from Memphis was doing it on that video. Yeah, Norfolk did that. Oh my God,
I think
whole
Chicken
gym.
Kick is just as good a name as any.
Chicken Kick. It was a Chicken Kick, man. Norfolk did that, and that was the loudest part of the battle when Norfolk did that. Mm-hmm. And somebody else did it at a halftime show, and then the crowd just got totally hyped with it. But yeah, I guess with mine, who do I think sound better? The question, the best part of the show, I liked. Virginia State had like a tuba medley, That was really cool. I like that. Norfolk played Tigers of San Pedro, and we played that in high school, so I'm a fan of that. And then I've been searching. Was that Norfolk played that? I've been searching. It was good. And the Virginia State Dancers, they did that. Is that the one, the routine you were talking about? You could have done it at anything with they did like the Mission Impossible type of thing?
No, that was the Norfolk State's flags. Their routine could have been done to any song.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But yeah, I did. I like the Mission Impossible too.
Right, I like that too. So those things are the things that jumped out to me. Okay, so then last question I have for you guys about the Battle of the Bands then is, who do you think had the better showing? Not necessarily, who was better or something, but who do you think had the better showing of the Battle of the Bands, Bridget?
I don't think I can call that one fairly. I think both bands did a decent job. I don't think it was a slaughter either way. I told you I'm a Norfolk fan. I like Norfolk, but I also think Virginia State did some good things too. So fairly, I wouldn't call it that one band was, necessarily better than the other. Both of them did good things, The features for each were good. Both bands had some good sounding things. So I'm going to say I like both of them for, overall, the Battle of the Bands. Both of them did a nice job outside of the little incident.
Right. Rashad, what you think? Same question, man.
So is there going to be a separate question, which is who was better?
Well, I guess you can mix them up, man. I guess who you look better.
Okay.
What overall synopsis? Who you think was better, Rashad?
Oh, it's so hard to say. I would say Norfolk by the thinnest hair on the chinny chin chin. Because I believe that Virginia State took everything at the beginning. They took the Latin song, they took the flag feature, they took the trombones, they took the tubas, and they took the dance. You know what? I think it was actually, I didn't put the Dance Girl song here on my list. So with that being the case, I'm sorry, Norfolk State took the tubas. I apologize with that. But the Virginia State took the Dance Girl song. The slow song, I didn't have a clear winner on that, so I just called it a draw because both were good. But percussion-wise, Norfolk destroyed it. They were amazing. They were absolutely amazing. Stick height was amazing, and the height mix that Norfolk did was definitely Norfolk. But just weighing it all together, I think I would have to give it to Virginia State.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm in the middle, and I'm kind of leaning towards Virginia State. Like I said, I'm just totally impressed with Virginia State. So I hope, and I really hope that they get better, and we'll see them later on in the year, on the field and stuff. But yeah, they looked. They just sounded really good, and
I hope they get some more trumpets.
Yes,
they need.
Right.
Bad.
That's right. They don't have the clarity, you know what I'm saying, which is just super, super important. But I think Norfolk probably they look better, and they probably had just a better showing. I think Virginia State kind of won just on well, and one category I wish they would have done more. They didn't do enough marches for me. Y'all know I like marches, and this is probably another thing on me being old, but they only did one. They said, "Oh, everybody play a march," and then they play this concert music. That wasn't real marches. You know what I'm saying? So I wish there was more. That would have gave the edge to me. I was like, if somebody played the march better, I was like, okay, they won. You know what I'm saying?
They Spanish marches. That's what they call them. That's what they call them over there.
Yeah, I guess.
Which kind of going to what Bridget was saying, I was very surprised that Virginia State played something like that because Norfolk State is known for always putting something Latin in their stuff. That's what they do. And I've never known Virginia State to do that. I don't know. Maybe I'm off. I've just never known Virginia State to do that. That was very surprising for them to play a Latin song.
They have to have somebody from Norfolk on their band stack. So it's too many similarities now. And I've seen Virginia State several times, but their whole style is starting to change. So that's my guess is they have
particularly marching in. They seem like just like Norfolk marching in.
The marching style, their whole marching style has changed. Their playing style, even some of their arrangements. Norfolk is known for that trombone middle voice feature. It's a certain style that they have, and I heard it in several of Virginia State's numbers. So I definitely see the similarities. So it'll be interesting.
Well, they've been doing that. They've had a strong trombone section for a long time, but definitely how they look though. Definitely. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm
No, that's cool. We cool. We cool. You know what I'm saying? Nobody kicking us off, so we straight. You know.
Except my 9% power has got to kick me off.
One day we should explore the topic of intentional recruiting. So intentionality in recruiting, because we see a lot of bands with that unbalanced number thing kind of going on, and I don't know, just like football coaches intentionally recruit what they need. I know some programs that do it, and some that don't, and it's hard with the admission standards and some other things that universities are facing. But we should have to explore that topic one day, and maybe bring a band director on to see their perspectives on it.
Totally agree. We got the people clapping for y'all. I thought that was a good little segment.
Clap to fill in the distortion. Good work.
Yeah. You chopping it up, Joe.
Yeah. So all right. So let's take our next break, and we will come back and talk about Miles and Alabama A&M. Really good matchup. Both directors, friends of the show. Shout out to Brother Wright, Rue, Brother Wright, Rue. And shout out to Brother Snipes. We actually chopped it up with both of them, and we chopped it up with oh Lord, I don't forgot the other brother's name. Chris, I believe it's Chris. I forgot Chris' name. I'm about to look. Another director.
Brian Knowles.
Brian Knowles. Lord have mercy, I said Chris. Yeah, I know.
And Marvin Warren at A&M.
And Brother Warren. So because I messed up on Brother Knowles' name, and we done interviewed him too, so because I messed up, this is my chance to try my booze. So let me try my booze. Here we go. Booze. A lot of booze. They mad because I messed up his name. I'm sorry. Y'all definitely come to check out. I want y'all to check out these visual things, man. Yeah, I wish y'all could hear. But anyway, I digress. So let's take the next commercial break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about Miles and Alabama A&M. You are listening and watching the 90 Degree Show. We appreciate it. Much love, y'all.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Beard from the Marching Podcast. Is your school, club, or organization looking for high-quality decorated apparel to outfit your students, staff, club, or team? Tired of the same old boring white t-shirt? Are you in charge of the upcoming fundraiser or special event but don't really have time to troll the internet for ideas or compare products? SAY can help with design and product selection. We can even assist with ideas on conducting an effective fundraising program. SAY can help you save time and get your message heard. So call 1-800-975-3156. SAY Marketing and Promotions.
Give your brand a voice.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, I'll mute my microphone. All right, y'all, we are back. I'm gonna wait for Bridget and them. I know I had my microphone muted. So we back, y'all. And now we are ready to talk about the other matchup, Miles and Alabama A&M. I got a chance to see the halftime and the fifth quarter, and wanted to talk to you guys about it. And like I say, we got a lot of fans, Miles and A&M. I was happy to see this on the schedule because I was like, oh, that's going to be a real good band matchup. But at the same time, I wish they kind of met like in the middle of the year, like when like they kind of like full swing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was only thing. But I was happy to see them, and it was what I was expecting. So Rashad, I'll start with you, man. Let me get my questions up here about the good Miles and Alabama A&M. So I asked you about halftime first. Okay. Who do you think looked better? The halftime show.
I think Alabama A&M looked a little better.
Okay. All right.
Just brief.
I know. That's
They
all
look
good.
better.
That's all good. That's all good. Bridget, I will ask you, who do you think actually looked better for the halftime show between Miles and Alabama A&M?
Oh, do I have to answer
Well,
that? I hate answering that question.
who looked better? That's the thing. I guess that's why I picked who looked better, and they could necessarily who won or anything like that. But I guess who do you think like looked really good?
On the field. I like the drill designing A&M did, so I'll go with it just because I feel like I'm watching a few concepts. I feel like I'm watching over and over again with Miles just a little bit. I understand they have like a basis that they do, but I like both. I like both on the field. I'm gonna stay safe and say I like both on the field, but I liked A&M's drill a little bit better.
Okay, okay, yeah. I myself, like I say, I like both bands, and I don't know what it is, but I get crunk, and I'm sorry, turned up or whatever they say nowadays. I be getting crunk when they do when Miles come out and do neck for the intro. I don't know what that is, but like I don't know. I guess everybody that been in all the schools, if you hear neck, something happens inside of you. So I don't know, but I like it, and I like how they slow it down, and they be like, So like I like how they come in. That be crunk. I also like that they drill and they dance too. Like they put a dance in the middle of a drill. You know what I'm saying? I like how that format goes. But yeah, I think that Alabama A&M was a little bit more. They looked a little bit better just because of some stuff that happened in Miles' show. I thought, like you say, Bridget, the drill was really good. Alabama A&M's drill, I think they were a little bit more precise on the field, but it was close. Like there were a couple people that had stepped out on Miles' show, like it was really, really small mistakes that made like the precision not as good. So I think Alabama A&M, they had the difference with just how they drilled, how they marched and everything. All right. So next, who do you think sounded better? I'll ask you first, Bridget. Who do you think sounded better?
Here I go. I think both bands sounded really good on the field, and I think A&M sounded better. I just felt like we got a better overall clarity and sound. I struggle with, and a lot of bands are doing it, that downfield, you kind of lose the sound and they come, lose and kind of go.
Right.
Just because of how they design their drill. Norfolk does the same thing. A&M did more of a, company front kind of drill designing. I thought overall on the field, I thought A&M sounded a little better. A&M sound, I tell you, they've been doing some great work. Last year they sounded good. This year I feel like they sound even better. Mm-hmm. So sound on the field, and it doesn't take anything away from Miles, because I think really Miles has made 2 years ago, y'all know I was wearing Miles out. I was like, I'm hearing outstanding changes, and I got to give props to Snipes and Knowles and the whole team for the work that they're doing. I hear outstanding changes. But just overall, for just sound and I would probably, give a slight edge to A&M on the field. Not saying that Miles was bad at all.
Right. I mean, it was close now. I mean, we ain't talking about nothing that was like, decisive one or the other. Rashad, what do you think, man? Who do you think sounded better?
That is a double-sided question, and it shouldn't be, but it is. Comparing the two in a vacuum, Alabama A&M definitely does sound better. I mean, they have better control, better blend, all those type of things that we musicians know that should be the case. However, also knowing the fact that there are different styles of our art form, and these two bands play and do different styles, I honestly thought they were equally good at demonstrating their particular style. When you're talking about a style that is more balanced and more blended, Alabama A&M was great at that. But when you're talking about what you call a unbridled passion type of sound, but just making sure everybody comes in and articulates exactly the same, I thought that Miles College did a very good job of what they do. So comparing the styles, I thought they were equal as far as what they do. But comparing them without thinking about styles, A&M was better.
So yeah, everything Rashad just said, that's how I feel. Because I thought about you, Rashad, and I know that Bridget, y'all had got into some conversation that I hope we talk about this year. Rashad has a really cool like style breakdown where it's like East, Southwest, and all that stuff like that. So it's got some arbitration to it. So I thought the same thing where I be getting crunk when I hear Miles, and I like hearing Miles. But then when you hear Alabama A&M, it's like, you know, you start thinking about like actually like music majors and like the levels. So A&M was like super articulate. Like you could hear every part of the pyramid with Alabama A&M. So you could tell that they're doing their thing. They sound really good though. I just give them props because I've never ever respected Alabama A&M, especially when I was in school. I was like, what the hell is Alabama A&M? Like I always thought Alabama State was better, but they have surpassed them to me. Alabama A&M is way better. They are the truth.
They surpassed them a long time ago.
Wow, yeah. So maybe even like the first year I did the show, I think I had Alabama State as being better, but ever since Brother Wright and Brother Warren have got there, they're just doing some really, really good things. And,
Joe, where is Brother Wright from? Where is he from?
He's from Alabama. Carlton Wright.
Yeah, where did he go to school?
He went to Alabama A&M.
Okay.
Yeah, he went down there.
He got his master's in Hampton. He'll tell you a lot that he really learned a lot from Barney Smart. If you listen to A&M, they sound a lot like, at least Hampton did when I was in school. Hampton's changed quite a bit since then.
That I always call it the dream team. We interviewed Brother Wright, and it was him, Donovan Wells, and the other brother you just named. They were all up there at Hampton together. So I was like, wow, that's really cool. And they're doing their thing out here now. You know what I mean? So yeah, just very impressed with A&M sound. But like I say, Miles, I be getting crunk when I hear Miles too. So like you said, the difference in styles. But I guess if it was just, I don't know, if I had to pick between the two, I don't really know who to pick. But it would be.
It's hard to pick because it was such a balance to me matchup. Both bands really did sound good. You know, I appreciate the work that I'm hearing in both programs.
Yeah, and I'm glad it was even like that. So it could be like a good battle between the two. So I really appreciate watching it. All right, halftime. So Rashad, I asked you first. Who do you think had the better drill, Rashad?
I thought that Miles College actually had the better drill. Because I thought that they did more. You know, I liked the fact that they were sweeping the field and did some other things. With A&M, I thought they executed well, but the announcers like, now here's a real drill. And they kind of did a rotation and they came back and then they were pretty much done. So for them to say, here's a real drill, I just thought they would have done more movements, more so than just kind of taking a rotation and then going back to company front again. So I really like Miles a little bit better.
Same question, Bridget. What you think?
I agree. I actually agree with that. I like Miles' drill a little bit better. I don't like Miles' auxiliary team. I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan of them, but overall, I like the band's drill and a lot better. I think A&M looked good. I like their drill. I thought they did great with their formations, but I really do like Miles a little better in that aspect.
Okay. It's funny you guys say that. I gave them a slight edge. I gave Miles a slight edge too, just because their drill was longer, and like Rashad just said, they seem to do more things. I do think though that Alabama A&M performed a tougher drill, like that rotation to get that kaleidoscope look. You know what I'm saying? Have I got the camera on me? Oh man, I'm messing up. Yeah, my bad. I had the camera. I ain't had a camera. So that kaleidoscope look. I mean, it takes a lot for you to visually see like that to go. So I thought that A&M attempted to do the tougher drill, but we've had that discussion on this podcast before, and Rashad even said we can't necessarily give somebody the difference because they did something harder. You know, we definitely got to say who executed better. So,
why can't we though? But I think harder. I think we have to take that into consideration.
Well, yeah.
case. I think you have to take that into consideration. You know, who has the toughest drill? You know, who had a harder drill to kind of learn. I don't think that drill was really that hard. That's a pretty much a step 2 drill, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't think that's that hard.
It's the execution, though. Like,
execution is important.
For it to really look like a kaleidoscope, it's really, that's tough. So I thought I gave A&M props for doing that. I just didn't think they executed it as well. But Miles, I think they just had an easier drill. You know what I mean? For them to do. They weren't I don't think they were as precise as A&M, though. I think A&M. I think Miles messed up more. I think everybody messed up, but I think Miles was messed up, and there were a couple of times or a couple of people messed up a little bit in the drill, and I noticed that. So, yeah, I guess good talk about that one. But drill, yeah, it's still slight. Like I say, it wasn't nothing definite in this matchup. So drill. Next question, Bridget. What was the best part of their show? Like, what was that stuck out? Do you remember from halftime?
Let me think about that. So for both bands, I definitely, as much as Neck gets on my nerves sometimes, I really like, that's Miles' signature opening. You know, they always open their shows like that. And that always gets you a little hype. You know, they kind of slow it down a little bit. Yeah. I really do like that. So I thought that was good. I'm kind of over dance routine, guys. I kind of said it last season too. So when we kind of get to dance routines, I'm like, okay, everybody's gonna kind of do the same thing. But I think both bands, the drilling, I really liked the sounds. I liked A&M, like I said, sounded really good on the field. I like A&M's color guard work, and so the color guard really enhanced the show. And I was glad to see somebody actually doing real color guard work. So I thought they did a nice job. I think both shows had several elements, but it was nothing that made you go, "Ooh, wow!" I'll tell you what I didn't like. So in Miles' college dance routine, was it them that had the white gentleman to kind of come out and
to do the floss? Yes.
It felt token-ish. I didn't like it.
And it was bad.
They messed up too. Like that was the part that kind of I was gonna bring that up too, but they messed up. And
I don't want them to start going to gimmicks. You know.
Yeah. We talked about that last year.
Yeah, man. You know me and my quote on gimmicks. I don't really I don't like gimmicks. I grew up around Howard band, who all they did was gimmicks because their band sucked. So they did gimmicks to kind of make up for it. That's just me.
Gunshot.
Gunshot
found.
I'm adding that next week. I'm adding the gunshot next week.
There you go. But to me, gimmicks are for bands who suck. You know, that's what you do at the last minute to try to get house. I don't really like gimmicks. And that one was kind of like, ooh, I didn't get it. They didn't pull it. They didn't execute it well. So that's what I didn't really kind of care for. But otherwise, I liked the shows. Nothing else was kind of like, ooh, made you want to scream. It was just okay.
Yeah, they actually messed up because one dude looked like one dude knew what he was doing, and the other dude didn't know what he was doing. Like, the dude started with the floss, and then the one dude was literally, like, looking around like, you told me a different dance. Or it was something like where he just wasn't doing nothing.
You told me a different dance.
There you go.
I thought it was doing chicken cake.
So I was just like, dude, what is you doing? Like, and he just stood there. And then as soon as I recognized, like, okay, he's messing up, he ran back. And I'm like, oh, man. Like, oh, Brother Snipes wasn't happy about that. So, I just do that in there. Rashad, what do you think, man? What was the best part of halftime to you?
Pretty much nothing. I didn't like either show. I thought both bands executed decently for their show, but general effect wise, the shows didn't come together. You know what I mean? It just didn't. It's like stacking squares on top of circles. It didn't come together. And after we close on that, and I get a little bit more time just to talk freely on it, I'll get into some more detail. But I guess the best thing was the fact that Alabama A&M did look good on their drill. Again, I like Miles College's drill better, but I thought that rotation. We've seen rotations before a billion times, but I thought he did a decent job of doing it. So really, that's the only thing that stands out, because there were so many things about both shows. I'm like, I don't like these shows.
Yeah, man. I myself, the best thing that I had was I think that Alabama A&M's dance routine was actually really, really good. I don't think I'm much more of a drill person, but I was really excited to see that dance routine. I thought it was a lot of dances, like a lot of intricate dances, but it was still enough where it was big enough where people could kind of see what they were doing. And I like the tuba line. You know what I mean? So like that jumped out at me as far as one of the best parts. And then of course, like I said, Miles' intro. You know that I like neck how they slow it down, and then the sounds from both programs, both bands sounded good. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a real like matchup. So yeah, I appreciated those things. Next question, Bridget. And we talked about the worst part of the show, if something was bad. Who do you think overall just had a better show, Bridget?
I call a tie. I think they both had a decent show. I call a tie on that. Neither one of them was better than the other. But I thought both of them did a nice job on their shows. And like I said, and I felt like that for pretty much the whole matchup when I was watching them. Most of the bands I saw this weekend, I didn't feel like, ooh, somebody slaughtered somebody else. That was just
right.
This week was like, and it might just be the week one thing that everybody's kind of at the same point. And it's so hard, and sometimes it's kind of unfair to rate other people's bands because we don't know the back stuff that kind of goes on in programs. So really, I thought both bands did a nice job. So shout outs to those band directors and the work that you're contributing.
Rashad, what you think, man? Who you think had a better show?
I agree. There was no clear winner. Yeah, it's weird for our first show. I guess I don't know. People like to see us disagree, so I guess this one sucks. But yeah, there was no clear winner here because both show again. I just didn't like either show. I think if they took out certain elements of either show, there could have been a clear winner, but because they didn't, there wasn't.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Who did I have? I think that because I agree with the two of you, but the fact that Miles messed up, I gave the difference to A&M. I just think the gimmicks. I think the bringing the two dudes out there. I just think it was a bad move. Miles don't need to do nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's universal.
Yeah, and so if they was tight and they actually worked, I would have probably liked it or laughed or something. But the fact that they messed up, that it just hurt because you battling another program or another band right now that's too good to have mistakes. So like you just gotta say like it wasn't necessarily anything that jumped out either or because both of them are good, but just the mistakes was just kind of blaring. So I just didn't like seeing the dudes out there. It is gimmicky, and we did talk about that last year. But yeah, I don't think Miles needs to do the white dudes dancing. Honestly, nobody needs to do it. You know what I'm saying?
They're a good enough band without that. They don't need the gimmicks. They really don't. They're a good band, so they don't need that extra stuff. I think it detracts. It kind of lowers,
Exactly.
What they're doing.
All right. So any other comments about halftime? We'll take one last commercial break, and then we'll talk about the fifth before we close. So any other thing about halftime?
No.
Yes.
All right, y'all. I
said yes.
Oh, my bad, Rashad. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm doing like 3 different things. Go ahead, Rashad. What you think, man?
Saving my stuff for this. Okay, first of all, Miles College announcer, he needs a script. He does not need to make up anything on the spot because it sounds like he was making it up. I mean, talking about, we came in the back door. Y'all left the gate open or something. The announcing was really distracting. And there were parts during the show where they needed to be announcing and there wasn't. And then they would say, what do you say, like multiple times, right now. And then again, right now. Like, come on, the announcing needs to be better. Again, Miles College is too good a band for the announcing not to be up to snuff. Your announcing can destroy your show even if you have a great show. Next thing, that dance routine in the middle of the drill was very weird. I love dance routines in the middle of drills. I think they're necessary. I think they're good because it can be the most boring part of your show if it's not done right. But it just didn't work. It just like it didn't end well. And I just kind of watched it and I was like, what just happened right there? Like that dance, it just didn't work well at all. So when I say putting squares on top of circles, that's what I'm talking about. It's like stuff just didn't fit. The dancing white guys, I'm tired of dancing white guys because I've been seeing it ever since I've been watching bands. I do know it can get house, but they need to be good. Like, don't just have random white people out there dancing just because they're white, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna give you house." Like every time I've seen like Southern do that a number of times, it's like that one tuba player that comes out. It's like they have a white tuba player like every 4 years, but he comes out and it's like, "Wow, that was amazing." These guys were terrible. Don't ever do that again. And then after they get done with the two of them, then they brought out another guy. It's like, "Oh, well, here's a guy that can really dance," but because he was playing drum and had to start playing again, he didn't have the chance to do anything. So those things really took away from Miles' show. From Alabama A&M, if you notice during their drill, there was a big phase. It wasn't a big problem, but there was a phasing problem. The tubas were playing quarter notes all the way through, and you can start to hear where those quarter notes start to sound like they were starting on the of the beat a little bit versus the rest of the wind section. Watch that again and listen. There was definitely a phasing problem. And then the fact that they didn't do a lot during their drill, they just kind of made a rotation and came back. That disappointed me. And then the dance routine with no playing. I just what? A dance routine with no playing. That's that long with like 3 or 4 songs long. I mean, it's like they still put the instruments to the mouth and then they dance again and do the dance. All right, still put the instruments to the mouth and then they dance again. Like, what is happening here? Like, a dance routine should tell a story, and part of that story is interjecting the sound of the band throughout because that helps to keep your energy level. And so, just dancing back to back, that's disappointing. So those things from both bands, they just really disappointed me on the field. I thought they executed well, but those things took away from the shows from both bands. That's it.
All right, that's what's up, man. Yeah, I think I gave my 2 cents about it. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and go to this last commercial break. Yeah, but yeah, I guess overall, Miles didn't need that. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the last commercial break, and we'll talk about the fifth before we close. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show, Volume 1. Thanks again for watching and listening.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Southern California area, please contact Kevin Pete of Remax Patriots. He will meet and exceed all of your needs. You can contact Kevin at 951-858-5942. That's 951-858-5942. Or you can email Kevin at kpsaleshomes@sbcglobal.net. That's KP, his initials, Kevin Pete, KP Sales Homes, all one word, at sbcglobal.net. Thanks again.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Beard, Jackson State alumnus, 1966. I march in the Jackson State Marching Band, which was then called the best band in the land. And you are now listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
I gotta remember to unmute my microphone. So we are back, guys. And yeah, Bridget and Rashad, they can't hear the audio. So I know, like, when I come back from the commercial, they come back. But yeah, we'll get it together. Thanks for all the people who are watching. All the people that left, a comment in the chat room. But yeah, shout out to the A1 Story. He had his little take. He said he thought that Prairie View was the best band in the SWAC. He said Grambling has improved. And he says Pine Bluff is always boring. He thinks that Norfolk has a well-matured seasoned sound. And a lot of HBC recruits what they can get. So appreciate you being there in the chat room, participating with the show. All right. And shout out to everybody else listening. Again, if you would like to become a patron or a sponsor of the Marching Podcast, let us know, and we will give you the criteria. We can start to pub your business using our platform. All right. So in our final discussion tonight, I wanted to ask you guys about the fifth between Miles and Alabama A&M. Two good sounding bands. I knew that we were back in football season because this was something I can like put on YouTube, play it in my office and listen, and I could just like let it ride. You know what I mean? Like it's like a playlist. So this was one of those fifths that I enjoyed and I like listened to, but I wanted to hear what you guys thought about it because it's getting late. It's 11 o'clock over there, ain't it?
I'm watching Bridget's eyes here. I don't know how much longer we're gonna have.
They going down. I told you they going down.
All right, let's get a round of applause for Bridget. Bridget, they clapping for you. I wish you could see the people. These are the people. They clapping for you.
You chopping? We don't hear you, Joe.
Oh, I was saying they clapping. They were clapping for you. That's because that was that audio. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that audio. They were clapping for you.
Thank you. Yet holding on.
Holding on. So, real quick, let's go ahead then. The fifth quarter. Bridget, what song did you like the most, or what song jumped out at you when you checked out the fifth quarter between the two?
You asked me for specific songs. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know the names of a lot of them either. I
don't know the names of a lot of the songs. Rashad, go first because I know you got notes. You
probably know the name. Rashad know the name.
Yes. My notes say Alabama A&M, Miles College, Alabama A&M, Miles College. I don't know the name of them songs. I got Master Blaster in here. Thong Song. I don't really want to say what song, at least from Alabama A&M, what song really stuck out to me. With Miles College, I'll say one song in particular stuck out to me. It was in a negative way, but this should not. This comment does not represent Miles College's performance overall. In the heat of the night, they have 4 drum majors and a band director, and there was at least 3 different directing styles. And for whatever reason, I don't understand why they're not looking at the band director. Why? Why direct and not look at the band director? If you're directing and not looking at the band director, you're dancing is what you're doing. You're dancing to the beat that's established by someone else. Because one person was directing with one hand, one person was directing with 2 hands, another person was directing different styles. And they would look at the band director every now and then. And the tempo, the reason that was happening is because they were frustrated because the tempo was starting to fall apart just a tad bit. So because normally they were directing the same way, but I think they were trying their best. Oh, one guy was just doing this. He was just lifting his arms up and down. And I think they were trying to get the band back together again. That all could have been solved if they just turned around and faced the band director and conduct with his pattern. So that stuck out to me. But again, that does not represent Miles College in performance overall. So I can't wait to just talk about them overall in general.
All right. Me, myself, I guess that's Master Blaster. Is that jamming? We jamming to the break of dawn. Yeah. Is that Master Blaster?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, I like that song. That song was good. And Alabama A&M played, I want to say, like an American Gangster song, something from that soundtrack. It's 21 Day. Yeah, they're like.
110th Street, yeah.
110. Okay. So you knew what I'm talking about then. I was shooting in the dark on that one. I thought that sounded good. What else did I have here for the fifth? So yeah, that and then Beauty. Alabama A&M played Beauty. I ain't gonna lie, Drew Hill is like band song central. You could get.
Shout out to Baltimore, Drew Hill. What?
Oh my God, you could go and get any Drew Hill album and like straight up give just the whole thing to your person writing your song and get hella products. You know what I'm saying? It would be dope.
Including Cisco, because Thong Song would kind of go into that too.
Yeah, and but yeah, Beauty is like one of my favorites band song wise. So and they played that, and then in the heat of the moment, I did like that because, you know, Miles, They've been playing that every year. That's starting to be like their song. You know what I'm saying? So those things jumped out to me. All right, next question. Who do you think sounded better? Who do you think sounded better? Bridget, what you think?
I'm going to say depends on the song. So I'm having an issue with this whole tuba breakdown thing. I think arrangers are being a lazy now. I really do. I think that's such a lazy arranging style. So I'm hearing a lot of, the bands play a couple of lines, tuba break, and everything gets loud and the song is over. And that's bugging me. And so I heard it from A&M. I think I heard it from Miles more, though. I'm not sure. Rashad, do you remember somebody, I was just like, if I hear this again, that tuba breakdown, it was driving me nuts a little bit.
I think
Miles did it at least twice.
Yeah, Miles had more. Miles had more tuba breaks. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of bugging me. Miles played a march. Did you catch the march?
Yeah, I was so great.
I was about to say, Joe, we can't let you get off the phone without you giving some props to Miles and their march now.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I was going to bring that up. So, yeah.
Wow, yeah. But let me tell you, Miles have changed. Let me tell you why I'm leaning towards them. And it's a biased perspective, and I own it. But I'm leaning towards Miles because their sound has changed so much to me in the last 2 years. And so, whereas I heard them do a battle of the band somewhere, and I was just like, what is that? And I was like fussing on the show, and Snipe tried to beat me up later. And now I'm like, I can actually listen to them and not cringe. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm hearing good things. What's bothering me, though, they still have some tuning issues, especially like in the flutes. I need the piccolos to kind of get a tuner and just kind of sleep with it at night a little bit. But I can hear them, which is what I like. I'm starting to hear the color, and so for that I really like it. But overall, I hate to say A&M sound a little bit better. I think A&M overall in the stand sounded a little bit better, but it's not like they slaughtered. Somebody was trying to claim that they slaughtered Miles. Nah, not in the least bit. Miles sounded good. They just have a few more things to work through. I think this new wave is still kind of newer for them, but they're willing to grow, and that's what I appreciate about that band staff is I hear growth every time I hear them. I'm like, yeah, Miles, come through. Yeah. I'm hearing some good things, so congratulations to them on that. And I think just is a little more seasoned right now in this particular playing style. They have some good people on their team. One of my KK Side brothers is on there. I know he's working with them, so shout out to him. But I'm gonna go with I think I might go a little bit, just a slight edge to A&M on this.
Rashad, same question, man. Who do you think sounded better?
Oh, same thing. Slight edge to A&M because, wow, this was a battle. I will have to disagree with Bridget just a little bit about the tuba breaks. Not saying that I don't like. I do dislike them, and there were a couple of them. But outside of that, there was some amazing arranging going on in these songs. Like this was a grand battle between two arranging staffs, or perhaps just two arrangers. I mean, wow, there was some amazing things going on. Like every song was different. Like you could tell it's by the same person just because you know those bands. But other than that, sometimes the trombones would be heavier on the melody. Sometimes they would just be playing the pad, and you would just have baritones doing things. And this next song it would sound completely different. Like neither arranger was scared to really work into all the different colors and the different sounds that the band could generate. And I was really impressed by that. And Miles College really did some great musical things. Like there was one where the trombones and the baritones had like these nice triplet run, like but it was right before In the Heat of the Night. I was like, man, that was great. But overall, Alabama A&M did outpace them a little bit as far as their sound. This is the best that I've heard Alabama A&M this early in the season because they always have a problem with on the field they sound great, and then when they get back to the stands they're not sure if they want to be a swag band or a MEAC band, just to make it simple. Now they really own who they are, and I'm very proud of them. Like that mellophone sound is so clear and mellow and not really harsh, and it's just beautiful. I've never heard them sound that good this early in the season. So I give them the edge, but let me tell you something. There's some great musicianship going on in Alabama right now. I got to give them props.
From both bands, I agree with you.
Yeah, totally. And that actually bleeds in my next question I was going to ask you guys. When just something I was thinking about as far as questions to ask you guys about the fifth, and that was range. And when I mean range, I mean like the book, like how well, how much of a range that do you have with the book that you have? You know, when you coming into the stadium, are you playing all rap songs, all tuba breaks? You know what I'm saying? Or are you playing a little bit of some of everything? And also, too, mixing into that with the arrangers. How well are these arrangers, you know, doing their thing for the band? So I wanted to ask you guys, I guess, was there a band that displayed that they had more range, or was there one, I don't know, was there one articulation or one, I'm sorry, not articulation, but one arranger that jumped out to you more? Bridget, what do you think as far as range of the book and the arranging of the music?
So I'm actually going to go with a definite Miles on that one. I think they were willing to come outside of the box a little bit. I think A&M, they tried to start the battle one way, and Miles kind of made them shift gears, and they made them shift when they even first started with that march. And so I'm gonna go with Miles definitely on that. I think their arrangements are good, but I think they had a pretty diverse book, a diverse group of a bunch of literature that they're playing. So both of them, like I said, have good books, the literature, but I think Miles kind of controlled the ball a little bit as far as what you're speaking of.
Okay, Rashad, same question, man. What do you think about the
I
range
don't
and
know.
the ranging?
I mean, yeah, if you want to say Miles College played one march, I mean, yeah, they had a little bit more range. But other than that, I felt like the arrangements pretty much stayed within the same type of genre, which was R&B, rap, soul, contemporary African American music. But I think the range of the arrangers themselves and what they did with that music was very good. So no, they didn't play like from what I heard, because I didn't hear the whole thing, but it wasn't like, I mean, yeah, Alabama A&M played the theme to Johnny Quest. So Miles played a march, Alabama A&M played the theme to Johnny Quest. So both bands stepped out a little bit, but for the most part, they pretty much stayed within the same relatively narrow field of things. You didn't hear like a lot of things like playing Africa or Ceremony and Ritual all the way through, or the Olympic Fanfare. You hear a lot of that, but I really thought they did a great job with what they were playing.
Okay, yeah, man, I was tough with this one too, as far as the range. I was impressed with some of the things that I heard from both schools. Alabama A&M, of course, I don't know the name of this song, but they played something that had a gang of runs in it. And I don't know what it was, but I was impressed that it was really, really clean. You got someone. You know the name?
Johnny Quest? Was it da 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 da?
Yeah.
That's Johnny Quest.
Is that a cartoon or something? I think I heard of Johnny Quest before.
Yeah. I think that's the more updated version of Johnny Quest.
Okay. So I thought that was really, really good. That jumped out at me that it was pretty clean. Miles came back with, and it's funny, Bridget, you said something about Miles kind of dictating what was going on. Alabama A&M played that song, so I was expecting Miles to maybe come back with something kind of similar. Because maybe you could have a march, but maybe some type of concert or some type of other type of song in your book. They came back with the Rome. Every time I see your face, it make me wanna sing. I was like, whoa, like
they were digging in the catalog for that.
Yeah, like I don't know. I wish they would have responded something else to that. But it sounded good, though. Don't get me wrong. But my man, like you say, it was the Johnny Quest, and then they came back at him with the Rome. Save my lady. I ain't heard that song in a minute, though. It kind of brought it back. You know what I'm saying? But that's what's up. So I think you guys said it already. We kind of said over and over who we kind of saw sounds or what better and all that between the two. So I won't ask you necessarily between that, but I thought it was a really good matchup, and I'm really excited to see both bands going out for the rest of the year. All right, so we're in our closing block. Bridget, any closing shots? Anything else to say before we close the podcast?
Thank you all for hanging out with us. We know we're kind of, doing our thing tonight with time, so we appreciate everyone. Appreciate the band directors and the hard work they're doing, and this is no way a slight to any band director. These are just our opinions, our thoughts, and we just having a little band fun tonight. But outstanding work to the Norfolk band directors, the Virginia State band directors. We talked about Alabama A&M and Miles. Continue to do the great work that you're doing.
Shaw, same question, man. Any closing shots, parting out before we leave tonight?
Yeah, same. I've seen a lot of good stuff from a lot of bands across the nation. I'm very, very proud of them, and I'll keep up the good work. Of course, Block Band is here. Oh man, I forgot to give my my full disclosure, which I always try to do. Also, Block Band did provide all of the drum heads for Alabama A&M as well as their method book. So I always try, if I'm working with a customer, I try to say that beforehand so you guys know, because I don't ever want to give any praise to a band just because, we're working with them. What I said about Alabama A&M was really how I felt. But Block Band, of course, will continue to provide, pretty much everything that your band needs. Your music, your spats, your shoes, your gloves, drum heads, your flags, everything that you need. So just give us a call, 919-698-2560, and we will hook you up.
Can I get a hookup? I need a hookup.
Of course. Go on, hook up. Rashad. Well, thank you very much. Again, I always give you guys a shout out because I appreciate what you do. It's almost 12 o'clock over there. So, and y'all doing it for the craft. So, I really appreciate all of you guys and everything you do. We have come to the end of our podcast tonight. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial, we'll post your business on our website, and we will do all that type of stuff. And then we play a little stuff at the bottom here on the little ticker, trying to do big things in the Marching Podcast for the craft. So again, thanks you guys for everything you do. Thanks for watching. Come to the end of the show. Check out the website, donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the lectures you deliver may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lesson by observing what you do. See you next time.
Miss you, Christy.
Bye, Christy.
And that's it for the 90 Degree Show for this week. Tune in next week with Joe Beard, where the marching band battles continue.
Well, now.
You go off.
I guess.